dips low in the palmetto sky. Friday night's calling and the towns go quiet. From Doug Shaw Memorial to John McKissick Field, Carolina football, it's the heart we feel. Pickup trucks line up, tailgates in a row, Hyatt Stadium's rocking, Abbeville's ready to go. The Sumter Gamecocks charge, Gaffney's standing tall, every small town's dreaming neath the lights of fall. Four-quarter Friday, where the heart beats pound, Carolina shuts down every town. From the first snap to the final play, we're living for the glory of a four-quarter Friday. In Gilbert, America, the bleachers fill with pride. Cheerleaders shout, the band's playing, no one's staying inside. The boys in pads hit hard, chasing that old dream. Under stadium lights, it's more than just a team. Mamas clutch their programs, daddies yell the calls, grandpas talk of legends in these hallowed football halls. From the low country marshes to the upstate's clay, four-quarter Friday lights the Carolina way. Four-quarter Friday, where the heart beats pound, South Carolina shuts down every town. From the first snap to the final play, we're living for the glory of a four-quarter Friday. Shaw's roar to McKissick's sacred ground. Hot stadium's fire, you can feel the sound. Sumter Gamecocks fly, Gaffney holds a line, J-Mo run the dang ball, we're screaming for a sign. Rivalries burn bright, the clock's ticking down. On four-quarter Friday, we're the talk of the town. When the whistle blows and the scoreboard fades away, the lessons from the field guide us every day. Teamwork, grit, and pride, it's more than just a score. Carolina football's what we're fighting for. From the PD rivers to the upstate's misty hills, four-quarter Friday gives our hearts a thrill. Four-quarter Friday, where the heart beats pound, South Carolina shuts down every town. From the first snap to the final play, we're living for the glory of a four-quarter Friday. So here's to the Palmetto boys, giving it their all on a four-quarter Friday. South Carolina stands tall.
Welcome to Four-Quarter Friday, part of the Chief Sports Network, talking South Carolina high school sports every Friday morning, and proudly presented by the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association, with weekly appearances from coaches, players, and media around the state. Let's go! Kick off the first quarter. Happy Friday!
And welcome to Four Quarter Friday here on the Chief Sports Network. I am Matt Smith. That is Steve Hall. He is responsible for that fantastic signing day intro. We're here to bring you the latest from around the Palmetto State's high school programs, which will include some of those key signees. We'll have a guest on that just a little bit later. First, kind of in our second quarter, we're going to be joined by Burns head basketball coach Lane Fowler as his team tries to navigate a brutal closing stretch in Region 2-5A. Later on, we've got Crestwood athletic director Terrence Scriven. He's going to join us about an hour. And Steve, we did not do this with intention. I have an Easter egg for you, okay? This is something that I did not bring up to you prior because I wanted to surprise you with it because we did not do this with intention at all. But our guests today have an uncanny connection. Are you ready for this? You have to follow this thread, okay? Terrence Scriven, the athletic director at Crestwood, he is in the Claflin Hall of Fame as a player, okay? He was a baller, scored over 1,000 career points at Claflin. Lane Fowler, our first guest, head basketball coach, many of you know for Burns. He's got a state championship to his credit, great coach. Well, he was a great player himself. He played at PC and College of Charleston collegiately. He led his high school team past Kevin Garnett and Malden back in 1993, okay, in the state playoffs. They lost the championship game to Hillcrest High School. Not the Hillcrest from the Greenville area, not in Simpsonville, but the one in Dalzell that has since merged. That Hillcrest High School team from Dalzell won the state championship, featured two names you'll know, Ray Allen and T. Morant. T. Morant is Ja Morant's father, and he used to go by Ronnie back then. Hillcrest High School closed and was merged with Maywood, which is why they got Crestwood, how they got Hillcrest and Maywood, and they made Crestwood, where Terrence Scriven is now the AD. We told you he was a Claflin Hall of Famer. And with whom did Scriven play and was inducted into the Hall of Fame at Claflin alongside in 2023? T. Morant, who was part of the team that beat Lane Fowler, so he never got his state championship as a player back in 1993, back in the mid-90s. So I guess, yes, that's a long way to go to tell you that they have all those connections, but they both shared the court, obviously, with T. Morant. But I guess it's a small world, Steve, that you and I wouldn't know anything about when you're a baller. If you can fill it up and you go into like Hall of Fames and you get jobs like this, I guess it's a small world and you have connections with guys like Ray Allen and T. Morant and Kevin Garnett. But I thought that was a great connection between those two, dating all the way back to a high school that we don't even have anymore.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's some research right there. Man, well, that's a crazy story, man. So I saw a video actually earlier on Instagram this week, Smitty, and it's talking about like this random guy talking about like, hey, South Carolina surprised me a little bit. And then it goes on to list like all the, famous, people from South Carolina, much of them being ball players, of course. Mm-hmm. And of course, Kevin Durant was in there and Ray Allen was in there, which we all knew. But I don't know if I knew there was one of them that surprised me, Chris Rock.
Yeah,
from Andrews, South Carolina.
Born in South Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. But anyways, that's fantastic.
I think it's great that, we'll ask both Lane and Terrence about that. And of course, with Terrence Scriven, there's so much history there playing at Claflin. He was the athletic director at Gaffney, and then he came back to that Sumter area. I really want to ask him about his ties and pull to that area, why he wanted to come back there. And of course, he's doing a terrific job. And again, the intro was phenomenal, Steve. I love, because it is so hard to capture what you did in our intro, which is signing day, because so many of people that are following us right now and joining us on the program, we look at it from the collegiate perspective. But look at all of these players and athletes across the state with their dreams coming true, and you don't know where those dreams are going to take you, what particular sport they're going to go, and you really captured it in that intro. I hope everybody can see it again. I hope there's a way that we can get that out there, because there's so many faces that are going to be that you'll know that either your son or daughter or somebody played against, shared a court with. I just thought it was great. You did a great job of capturing what signing day is from the high school perspective.
Yeah, and we'll get that video out as a standalone, shareable on socials. Which brings us to a great little tie-in. Please remember that we are asking you to like, subscribe, follow, dislike our videos, whatever you want to do on our new YouTube channel. We have Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're on the Chief Sports app. That's really a great place to watch on demand as well, along with Inside the Gamecocks and SEC Sunday Night. And Pat DeMarco and Stephen Garcia's Tailgate Talks podcast is a great place to kind of find all the shows in the Chief Sports Network.
That's what we want. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, obviously. I thought you did a terrific job of capturing what it is. And of course, and we'll go with this later. I'll reveal somebody in my family had a signing day, a big signing day ceremony. We'll get to that, but I want to hear about Terrence Scriven as well, Steve. Maybe you can go ahead and tell us the connection that he's got. Obviously, he's the athletic director at Crestwood High School, but he has a signing day connection too.
Yeah, and we'll kind of ask Coach more about his cousin, but his cousin recently signed with Newberry, and we'll bring that graphic up on the screen and then put it out. But his cousin Deshaun just signed for Newberry football, and a great defensive back from Crestwood High School. We're excited to have another Palmetto player profile. Nice alliteration, Palmetto State Armory. If you're listening, this is a great opportunity for you. But can't wait to get into that, Smitty. And it is hard to find like one player for us to showcase in this segment every week, because there's so many deserving players across the state, across every sport. But signing day was a big deal, and usually I'm trying to highlight somebody who is, I was talking to the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association this week, and we really were kind of talking about our vision for this segment, and is to not always be highlighting the kids that are deservedly so, signing to a Power 4 school like South Carolina or Clemson, but to really capture the athlete that's, not getting as much publicity or shine from when they sign to a smaller school, because it is a big deal, Smitty. Like D3, D2, NAIA, those opportunities to play collegiately is just as difficult to land those opportunities. And then the fact that those kids, those players get, a lot of times free rides to these great schools. Newberry is a great school. I call it coaching university. So many great coaches in this state have come from Newberry, and then another one, North Greenville. So I think you saw a hat of North Greenville in that opening video. But yeah, that's kind of what we are aiming to do. And we do ask coaches to submit and nominate your players along with their statistics from senior years, so we can highlight your kids. If you're a parent, you're welcome to do the same, and hit us up on social media, X and Facebook and Instagram. And our profile on X has a link tree that has the links to where you can find us at all those locations.
Yep. And I'm excited about all the things that we can talk about today. Obviously, we've got wrestling playoffs going on, which were pushed back a little bit because of the weather. So we can give you some details on that. But when we come back, we'll take our first break. And then when we come back with second quarter action here on Fourth Quarter Friday, we will showcase the rankings for boys and girls basketball ahead of our interview with Lane Fowler, who's the Burns boys basketball coach. He has a history, by the way. He used to be the Burns girls basketball coach previous to that. So maybe we'll ask him about that. He may have a perspective on that. But I've got 4 monster games. We usually talk about big games or games to watch. As we are closing in on the playoffs and these region standings are starting to get settled, Steve, I have 4 monster games that we can highlight when we come back. We will do that, and we will lay out the rankings for you, who's slipping, who's rising. We'll do that when we come back. That's Steve. I'm Smitty. This is 4 Quarter Friday. Stay tuned for the rankings and the big games next.
It's football season. The Barn Dominium Company wants to help you build your dream home with your dream space to watch the games and entertain your friends and family. Make your dream a reality. Visit thebarndominiumco.com. That's thebarndominiumco.com for floor plans, photo galleries, locations, and to learn more about us.
Oh man, the building is on fire.
Emergencies and accidents happen. When you're in the middle of a fire or water event, all you want is for things to return to normal as soon as possible. Resto Pros of the Midlands is with you, guiding you through the process and working with you to get your home or office back in working order. They'll answer your questions, discuss procedures, and can act as your advocate when it comes to processing your insurance claim. Resto Pros Midlands SC.com. Open 24/7 when you need them. Quality that is guaranteed.
When playing sports, you want a coach that will fight for you. At Hewitt Diamaduros Law Firm, we've got your back. Whether it's personal injury, insurance disputes, negligence, or wrongful death, our team delivers exceptional legal services that makes meaningful difference in the lives of the individuals and families we work for. Visit hdlawsc.com. hdlawsc.com. Hewitt Diamaduros, we're on your team.
Check the statewide high school scoreboard every Friday night on the Chief Sports app.
You're tuned into the state of South Carolina's weekly high school show, 4 Quarter Friday, hosted by Matt Smith and Steve Hall, part of the Chief Sports Network, and proudly presented by the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association.
Keep believing, no plans on leaving, even if we have a losing season. Grind is a capital letter on my baseball cap. It's what holds us together around this dot on the map. Now it's the color I bleed in the stitches in my stitches in my stitches in my stitches in my pride is a capital letter on my baseball cap. It's what holds us together around this dot on the map. It's the color I bleed in the stitches in my shoes and my jacket match it right. Pride.
Welcome back to 4 Quarter Friday here on the Chief Sports Network. Steve Hall, Matt Smith with you. We've got Lane Fowler, head man for Burns basketball, coming up as part of our third quarter. And we also have Terrence Scriven that will join us, athletic director for Crestwood today. And as we told you in our opener back in the first quarter, they were both ballers back in the day. Now, we'll see how humble they are. We'll see if we can pull a story or two out of those two from their days on the court before they highlight this next generation. But right now, what we want to do is go over the top 10 rankings for both girls and boys basketball and some of the major monster games that we have got coming up, either tonight or coming up next week. As you can see, Ridgeview is still at the top in 5A Division I. As a matter of fact, these weren't changed from last week because of the weather and the lack of games, or I guess some teams played and some didn't. So these are unchanged. Dutch Fork there at number 2. But before we move on to Division II, Steve, I know you've got a lot to say about Ridgeview. This is a team that they've been just flat out humming on a long winning streak. You've seen them play, and you just know how athletic they are. And they rode that athleticism to championships the last 2 seasons. You and I both have said, even after they took an early loss in region play to Westwood, watch out when they get rolling, and they're rolling now.
Yeah, so I had a chance to watch them play against Spring Valley via the YouTube. Watch Fox 57 was broadcasting. I think Stacy Huff was on the call. Those guys do a great job, and had a chance to watch them play Spring Valley at Spring Valley on Friday night before the snow came in. And as we were all hunkering down, that was a great thing to be able to watch. And I saw what we all see on paper. I mean, they're long, they're very athletic, they are pretty deep as well. And Talon Staley was shooting the lights out from 3. They play incredible defense. I don't think the starters were really in much in the second half. It's going to be a tall mountain to climb for any team to beat them. They seem to be on a mission to get to their 3rd state championship in a row, and it's awfully exciting to see that ball club play. They're different than I think a Burns will be, as Coach Fowler will probably talk about somewhat later. We'd love to hear his thoughts on looking down the road a little bit, as much as coaches don't like doing that publicly and in the locker room. They are kind of looking about preparing their minds for how to play certain teams when they are different. Ridgeview's going to play really good defense. They're going to be hard to shoot the 3 against because of their length and their athleticism, you would think. So, that's exactly what I saw. I saw what we all thought we would see. The saying, we are who we thought we were. Who was it? Was it?
That was Dennis Green who said they are who we thought they were. And
right.
Ridgeview is who we thought they were, and that's a positive thing. That means they are the favorite, one of the favorites, or probably the favorite right now in Division I. They are 20-3, 8-1. So because of the schedule, you mentioned before the snow came in, because of some of this weather, some teams are pulling, they're playing like 5 region games in 11 days. And I think Ridgeview is one of those teams. They played last night, beat Lugoff Elgin 73-48. And you mentioned the defense. Well, there it is, 48 points with the pace that they play. Only surrendered 48. They play at West Florence tonight. I just don't know that anybody's going to get Ridgeview in the regular season. If they get gotten, I think it's going to have to be in the playoffs somewhere. Again.
Yeah, I would think so.
All right. Also in Division I, we want to highlight Dutch Fork. They're playing great basketball as well. 6-1 in Region 4, 5A. Their only region loss is to Irmo. And that was a defensive game. It was the Yellow Jackets beat the Foxes 48-42. Dutch Fork is at Lexington tonight. West Ashley, they're a team that, once you get out of the Midlands, sometimes when they don't cross over during the regular season, you don't know how good they are, but I'm sure there are plenty down in the Low Country telling us how good West Ashley is right now. 19-3, 7-0. Nobody's gotten them as part of Region 8, 5A. They've won 11 straight, Steve. They're looking to make it 12 in a row when they play host to Stall tonight. Cane Bay is 19-4, but how good is their region? They're only 4-3 in Region 7-5A. They are one of the better defensive teams in the state. They took losses to Berkeley and Goose Creek, but Cane Bay has a chance at redemption tonight. Berkeley and Cane Bay tonight. That one has major playoff implications because Cane Bay is 4-3. They've taken some region losses. We'll obviously talk about Burns and Dorman coming up with Lane Fowler. I can tell you that Burns and Dorman are two of those other teams, Steve, greatly affected by weather up there in Region 2. That's what's happened in that kind of that Spartanburg County, Greenville County area. And Burns did get a win last night. They knocked off Spartanburg in a tight one. We'll talk about that with Lane Fowler. Dorman defeated Gaffney last night. So both of those clubs got wins. In 5A Division 2, Riverside is fantastic. They've won 11 in a row. They play nearby Eastside tonight. Westwood, that's a team that you know precisely how good they are, Steve. They handed Ridgeview its only region loss. Then Ridgeview returned the favor, which snapped an 8-game win streak for Westwood, but they've started a new streak. They beat Spring Valley just as Ridgeview did. So Ridgeview got them last Friday, and then Westwood got them on Tuesday. Poor Spring Valley, they've got a tough schedule, it looks like. But Westwood is now tied with Ridgeview for the region lead. Goose Creek, we've been talking about them all season long. How about their record, Steve? 21-1, 6-0 in region play. Only one team has gotten them inside state borders this year. They're at Stratford tonight. TL Hanna is fantastic. And then I wanted to highlight Greenville because Greenville's a team that played such a difficult schedule that I think they were forgotten. They were lost in this shuffle. They're 16-6. You might say, oh, that's a good record, but how good are they? You see them ranked 6th there in Division 2. But don't forget this, 9-1 in Region 1-5A play. Okay, I think you throw out the 6 losses. They've beaten, listen to this, Greenville has beaten Westwood, Riverside, your number 1 team there in Division 2, and TL Hanna. Those 3 teams, Steve, are a combined 57-7. Westwood, Riverside, and TL Hanna have gone 57-4 against everyone not named Greenville. Do not sleep on the Red Raiders. They will be in the playoffs, and they will be dangerous. Irmo's a team I wanted to mention. They're at White Knoll tonight. Would you like to be at that one? I don't know if you can get to that, Steve, but boy, would be a great atmosphere. Irmo and White Knoll with the rivalry that those two teams have. No one scored more than 61 against Irmo in region play. 4A boys top 10. You've seen Gray Collegiate. You loved them. They're 19-2, 11-0. They're another one. What do you think, Steve? Is anybody going to get them at all, or are they're your favorite?
I think they're my favorite. I think they're ranked number 1 for a reason, but it's going to be interesting in the playoffs. I mean, North Augusta's right there. They were missing their best 2 players against them in the final region matchup that we talked about last week. Wilson is right there at number 3 with some say maybe one of the best players, if not the best player in South Carolina, and the junior Josh Leonard. And so I think he's ranked inside like the top 250 players in the whole country. Will be a big time target for Clemson and South Carolina and many other schools, I'm sure, coming out of school next year in the class of 2027. Love to hear from Coach Scriven at Crestwood later. His team over there at Crestwood High School is ranked number 6, and they came off knocking off Hartsville on Wednesday. Hartsville's a good team year in, year out. They love their basketball at Hartsville. Of course, Hartsville, I call them Titletown, USA, and the biggest small town in South Carolina. There for a little bit, they went on a run of state championships in multiple sports. Football's, always great. And then boys and girls basketball, softball. I think soccer might have won a state championship not too long ago. So that's a great athletic program over there in Hartsville. It's going to be really interesting, that top. And then Darlington. How can we forget to leave out Darlington? As my former co-host used to say, the wee, our, Darlington Falcons. I can't. Him and Tommy Moody had it down. I don't have that lingo with me, but man, 4A is always fascinating to me. Just to rewind a little bit, Smitty, going back to 5A D2 a little bit, Goose Creek. I don't know that they're not the best team in the Low Country.
21-1.
so good.
21-1, Steve.
Yeah.
That's proven something with the schedule they played.
And historically speaking, they're going to go long into the playoffs. Coach Hall does a great job. The girls program is fantastic as well. Goose Creek loves their basketball programs.
Well, one thing we know about, you said that, 5A Division II. So Riverside, I went over Riverside and Greenville, perhaps underrated. We know what Westwood has done. Goose Creek, as we said, 21-1. So obviously TL Hanna's in there in the mix. So is Fort Mill. There are going to be some great teams, Steve, that do not win championships this year. It's really tight. I mean, some of these teams aren't going to make the semifinals. And that is going to be a hard pill for those clubs to swallow, as good as they are. If we can, let's move down to 3A, 2A, and 1A before we move on to our interview with Coach Fowler. But 3A boys, I highlight this every week, Steve. I love that Christ Church has that feather in its cap, knocking off Dutch Fork. And Christ Church has done a lot more than that. They're 18-1, undefeated in Region 2, 3A. No one is threatening the Cavs' supremacy in that region. And to me, one of the best wins all season came back in January when the Cavs beat Dutch Fork, igniting this long 11-game winning streak they're on. And I would love to see Christ Church square off with Loris. Now, Loris is at Marlboro County tonight. How about this? The Loris Lions this season, they have 3 losses, all to 5A teams. That's a 3A program in Loris that has only lost to 5A teams. And they've got some great crossover talent, some football talent that's come over and joined the basketball team. They're terrific. And Fox Creek, a team that we want to talk about a lot as we move closer to the playoffs, they are at Keenan tonight. Fox Creek, 17-4, 5-0 in region play. They beat Newberry by 30 the first time they played them, beat them by 31 last night. They've won 10 in a row. You see Georgetown there, Keenan there. Keenan is the defending 3A state champion, so watch out for them. And in 2A, High Point Academy, this is another team that's just far and away has to be considered the number 1 team right now, 19-2, 7-0 in their region. They travel west to play Liberty tonight. They are cooking, winning their last 18 games. Here's this number, Steve. This is why I wanted to mention them before we go to the monster games. High Point Academy has won its last 18 games by an average of 30.3 points. That's absurd. Teams are not getting close to High Point. They've had a couple of close calls in there, but teams for the most part aren't getting close. And down in 1A, Horse Creek Academy is 18-4, but region play 11-0. Horse Creek hosts North tonight. They beat North 77-47 last month. Horse Creek knocked out of the playoffs in the opening round last February. I don't think they're knocked out in the opening round this year. They have retooled, and they are good. So before we take our break, I want to go into our monster games, Steve. I'll get a quick reaction to you from these. We'll start in 3A. I mentioned Keenan, defending state champions, hosting Fox Creek tonight. And Fox Creek beat Keenan 3 weeks ago. So now you have a Keenan team that, with that championship medal, that championship coach, to me, this is the ticket of the night to see those two teams play. With revenge on the mind of Keenan, obviously. In Region 5 4A, Wilson, this is a game that Terrence Scriven will know about. Wilson knocked off rival South Florence 70-32 tonight. So you think Wilson isn't playing well. How about that? That victory sets up a showdown with the Crestwood Knights Tuesday. So a monster game, not tonight, but Tuesday. Crestwood and Wilson, first place, Region 5 4A, on the line. Region 7 5A, Berkeley is at Cane Bay. Here's another underrated team, Berkeley, unranked. But the Stags are tied with Goose Creek for first place. Cane Bay is in third. Berkeley's won 6 straight. They'll be ranked next time the rankings come out. They beat Cane Bay 68-59 the last time these two teams met, and they've got a 69-42 win over Goose Creek. That's it. One team has beaten Goose Creek from inside the Palmetto State, from inside this state, and it was Berkeley. So that means this game at Cane Bay, major playoff implications. And one more to highlight, and this will get us right into Lane Fowler. Burns beat Spartan High 90-84 last night. Another big game for Colt Fowler. That's Lane's son, Colt. He's the reigning Region 2 5A Player of the Year. 26 points, 13 assists last night. Spartanburg's Dylan Harris. Spartanburg can't catch a break. They seem to lose by 5 or 7 points every night. Dylan Harris goes for 30 points, and it's not enough. Riverside, Burns, Dorman coming down the stretch within a game of each other in the region standings, and Dorman plays Burns tonight. So that's a lot to chew on. I gave you a lot of info there, Steve, but we will bring it to Lane Fowler when we come back. Head man for Burns. He's got a big game coming up tonight against Dorman. He just now probably rolled out of bed because his club beat Gaffney last night. Beat Spartanburg last night in a tussle, a 90-84 game, and they've got to turn around and get it geared up for Dorman tonight. So we'll talk about the short turnaround with Lane Fowler when we come back. It's third quarter action on 4 Quarter Friday on the Chief Sports Network. Stay with us.
Palm Casual Outdoor Patio Furniture proudly supports high school athletics across South Carolina. If it's time to make your outdoor space the best it can be, with lifetime warranties and guarantees, visit one of our Palm Casual stores in Myrtle Beach, Bluffton, Somerville, or Mount Pleasant. PalmCasual.com. PalmCasual.com. Turn on the lights. It's Friday night.
At Moultrie Insurance, our agents are working for you. Our commercial lines of coverage are well-sourced and intimately chosen. We offer commercial lines of coverage such as business owners, umbrella, property, auto, or general liability coverage, and evaluate every option to find what fits you best. Like a good offensive coordinator, we will draw up the plays, but only run with what you feel comfortable. Get in touch with our quarterback, Perry Orth, or our head coach, Frank, by visiting MoultrieINS.com. MoultrieINS.com.
It's the 4 Quarter Friday High School Show on the Chief Sports Network. Proudly covering high school athletics across the state of South Carolina with accurate, trusted analysis, in-depth interviews with coaches, media, and players, and quality information. Every Friday at 9 a.m. We're here for you. Proud partner of the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association.
Welcome back to 4 Quarter Friday. Matt Smith, Steve Hall with you. And as promised, we have the head man for the Burns Rebels, Lane Fowler, joining us. We've got him like between almost a doubleheader. They played Spartan High last night. They have Dorman tonight. Lane, that must be a nightmare for you, Coach, because that is, maybe you could talk about this as well. Spartanburg is good. Their record is not nearly reflective because of the teams that they've had to play inside the region, not nearly reflective of how good Spartan High is. Tell us about this gauntlet you're going through.
Yeah, good morning, guys. It's tough. I mean, Spartanburg is very good, to your first point. Coach Rich has done a great job in year 3. They got some really talented senior guards, big guys inside. of their 9 losses, I think I looked and 6 of them are by 4 points or less. The other ones are all single digits. So, they're a very good team. The weather didn't do us any favors. And, I did have fun Saturday with my family, getting out with friends in the snow. But outside of that, we went 13 days without practicing. And that's hard. It's hard any time of year. It's really hard as you close out your region play. And then, as a nice little gift, you get Spartanburg and Dorman back to back. So that's just how it fell. And, our guys are pretty resilient. So we're excited, to get this game tonight. Obviously at Dorman, it's our rival. It's one of the biggest games, if not in the state. It's definitely the biggest game in the upstate.
Well, Coach, you mentioned your family and that Fowler name. Now we're spreading it everywhere. You've got Will playing at Converse. Colt was the region player of the year last night. Missy Fowler is the head coach for the girls basketball team at Burns, and they're top the state rankings, by the way. And you have a background there with girls basketball. I wanted to ask you about this. I haven't asked you about this in years, perhaps. What did you learn from being a girls basketball coach that has helped you when you shifted back over to the boys side? Because I don't know the best way to put it. It's the same game, but it's different. I think you could have learned a lot about yourself and the way you approach people and strategy by coaching the girls side.
Yeah, I enjoyed my 6 years as the girls coach. I'd never really imagined or dreamed I'd be the girls coach. I was the varsity boys assistant. Coach Bentley came to me as our AD then. It was like, hey, our girls' job's open. And I was like, well, Coach, no disrespect. I've never coached girls. I'm not sure. He said, Lane, it will help you so much with your career for so many things, for scheduling, being the head guy, just knowing how to run a budget, plan your own practices, a lot of things. And I'm glad, Coach Bentley and I had that kind of relationship, and he thought that much of me. And I loved coaching the girls. I had some really talented players. We had some really good teams. As far as differences, I think your competitors are your competitors. I do think the girls were, a little bit more apt to want to do the fundamentals and the little things. The guys at times, I'm not saying they just want to roll the balls out and play, but, it's just a little bit different. But overall, I would say there's more similarities, especially with, the kids that they crave the discipline. They want to be part of something more than themselves and being on a team. And like I said, we had some really good teams. And now I've been the boys coach for 17 years. So it was a blessing for me in my 27-year career to be the girls coach at Burns for 6 years.
Coach, being as good as y'all are this year, and it's one of the toughest regions in the state, if not the toughest. What's clicking right now for your team, and where do you see room for growth as the postseason approaches?
Yeah, that's a great question. I like where we've been offensively most of the season. We've been able to get out and transition. We're at our best when we can have big gaps to attack, get pitch aheads, drive the paint, get your kick out for three. Obviously, your dump downs, if the defender steps up to your post guys. And I have the best guy that leads that. I mean, I say that humbly, but Colt has great vision. He's got good speed. He's a kid that wants to distribute the basketball. His scoring has improved, but he's a distributor first. I'll say this. I'm disappointed at 22 games that we haven't been more consistent defensively. We've had to outscore a lot of opponents. And you learn throughout your career, you beat teams in different ways. I am a little old school, and I hang my hat on good team defense. And we have shown good team defense at times this year, just not at a consistent enough base, level. I thought we played really good team D the last time we played Dorman. I thought last night against Spartanburg for about a quarter and a half, we played really good D. And some of that, I'm not arrogant here, some of that you have to tip your hat to your opponent. Spartanburg's very good. They can score the basketball. Dorman's very good. They can score the basketball. So please don't think I'm like, we just let them score. We didn't just let them score, but I do think, we could have been better in our communication, just discipline defensively. But to the very last part of that, as we move forward in these last 4 games, and we're still fighting for a region championship, we're tied atop the league with Riverside. They've got us head-to-head, with the game at Riverside. They beat us. Dorman's right there in the thick of it, obviously, with 2 losses. So we want winning the region's paramount for us. The years that we've had tremendous success, we've won our region and had home court throughout the playoffs. And that just helps your kids when you got your own fan base and everything. So I would like to see us get better defensively. Offensively, we haven't reached the mountaintop by any means, but to keep distributing the basketball, be versatile, have your role guys step up. Like in the last game against Dorman, our freshman Kellen Leverett hit 3 big threes. And I think that probably caught Dorman a little bit by surprise, just because their scouting report was probably more tailored to Colt, Suki, and Fabian, as it should have been. So we definitely want to improve on the defensive side and keep, fine-tuning our offense.
This is Lane Fowler, his club, the Burns Rebels, fighting for a Region 2 5A championship. They play Dorman tonight. Coach, tell us, if you will, lay out how the playoffs work, because, as you said, it's so important for you to get home court. How does that work? How does the RPI play into that after the regions are settled? What are you looking at, and what are teams like? Somebody's going to finish third that's going to be flat out great. I mean, Dorman, Riverside, or you is going to finish third. So how does that affect things, and how do they determine seeding here at the end of the season?
Yeah, it's really, I don't want to say it's overly complicated. It can be complicated, just like inside our own region, Smitty. Riverside, let's say they won the region. They would be a 1 seed, but they would be a 5A Division 2 1 seed. So that takes them out of our 5A Division 1. If we won it and Dorman finished second, that would give Dorman an opportunity for like a 4 seed inside the playoffs. So they're going to take your 3 region winners if they are 5A Division 1. So hypothetically, let's say it's Clover over in Region 3. Let's just say it's, Malden in Division 1 or Region 1 and us Region 2. That's where your 3 region winners will be. Also a Dutch Fork in their region. They're having a great year. And then your first 4 seeds get a bye. And then, for us last year, going back to what you just said, we were 11-0 in the region. We had, lost our last 3 games of the region, finished third, and all of a sudden we were like a 7 seed. And so we got 1 home playoff game. And then next thing you know, we're traveling in the second round. So they have to, obviously once all the 5A basketball is over, they'll take going back to Region 1 right now, Greenville is winning that region, so they would fall into the Division 2 as a 1 seed or a 2 seed, depending. The RPI comes in to where, let's say us and Dutch Fork both won our region. Well, now you get to the RPI, which factors in strength of schedule, wins, losses, opponent strength of schedule. There's several things there that factor in, kind of like a max preps ranking that's in there as well. So there's still a lot left. I haven't allowed myself to truly look into the playoffs, and that's not me just saying that. We've got 4 tough region games left. I'm just going on how they went to last year's model.
Coach, you kind of speaking to that point. I mean, you have a lot on your plate right now. Your team has a lot on your plate, just getting out of this region and competing for that region's championship. But South Carolina high school basketball has produced a lot of talent over the years. We don't get near enough credit for the talent that comes out of this state. What do you see as the biggest strengths in the upstate in the region right now, from a talent and a team perspective?
Yeah, I think we got really good coaching in the upstate. I believe that. In our region alone, you've got, Hall of Famer, state championship coaches all through the region. And so, you got that in other regions. I think the players have, gotten just I always tell people sometimes now the players maybe are better, but I'm not necessarily always the teams are better. I think there's so much athleticism now. A lot of the kids have trainers, so there's skills there. But sometimes it's hard to put all those parts together. You're right. We've had tons of talent. I tell people all the time, I played in, a long time ago in 93, but 93 we lost to Ray Allen in the state championship. We beat Kevin Garnett's team to get through the playoffs. Like, you're talking 2 of the top, 50, 60 players of all time in the NBA. One of them's an MVP. There's only been 40 of those in the last 70 years. So, there's so much talent. And you could go through not just NBA guys, a lot of other guys. Our league right now, we got, I think, a possible of, golly, could be 4 all-state players. Sebi at Riverside's a great player. Jaden's a great player. I think Colt obviously is a great player. And there's so many more throughout. I think Suki for us that just made the North-South team is a great player. So there's so many great players. I do think the coaching is tremendous here in our area, our region, in the upstate in general. I think it's great throughout the state. Obviously, I'm more privy to playing teams in the upstate. I don't know if that's privy or not, but playing a lot of tough opponents. So we've always had a lot of good talent throughout the state. I mean, you could go back to your Alex Englishes. There's so many guys. I mean, and even more modern with Noah Clowney, PJ Hall, John Morant, Zion Williamson. There's been tons of talent that's come through our small state of South Carolina. And, I'm very much a basketball historian of our state. I love the game. I've loved the coaches that were I still lean on coaches that have been retired. I played for a great coach here in Jerry Vaughn. Harold McManus was before him, was a legend here as well. So I still talk to I call them the old guys, the Doug Lows and the Mark Freezes and, Tim Whipples and Bailey Harris's. So it's a lot of fun for me to kind of be in that middle ground. I was once a young coach, and now at 50, I'm 27 years into it. I still think I'm young, but, it's good to have those guys still back there and then seeing a lot of these good young coaches. So, but, yes, a lot of talent in our state, not only this year but through the years.
Oh, I love hearing those names. Let's go over a couple of those quickly. I love Doug Lau. I think Doug Lau is one of the all-time great personalities. I'm scared still of Mark Freeze. I just feel like, I've been out of high school for 30 years. I feel like he's going to make me run if I bump into Mark Freeze somewhere. So wait, you must see him in a different way.
I do, man. I love those two guys. They text me every week. Coach Lau sent me a text 2 days ago, warning me of the Vikings, his pride alma mater. Every time we go into Spartanburg, he'll tell me not to let my players step on his name on the court, Doug Lau court. I mean, he's great. I get to play golf with them like once a summer. Freeze is probably the funniest dude I've ever been around in my life. Like, it's nonstop laughter. Like, and it's not, how some guys are trying to make you laugh. His is just as easy as it can be. But now I played against Coach Freeze, and you're right. He could scare you. He was a big man, intimidating man, a heck of a ball coach. So was Coach Lau, so was Coach Whipple and Coach Harris. And it's been a blessing for me to have those guys. Although I didn't play for any of them, I competed against all of them, and I've obviously shown the respect to them that they've earned, but they've always been good to me as a coach that, they know I love the game and I'm going to do right by my kids. So, again, just so many great coaches, but those two guys in particular, man, I do get to have a lot of fun with.
Oh, that's great to hear. That is wonderful to hear. We could do a whole program on kind of like 90s coaches. And of course, you were on the floor, as you mentioned, going against Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. And but before we let you go, and we'll let you get prepared for this game tonight against Dorman, we do want to pull the thread a little bit about Colt. You've talked about him so much as a player, and I watched Will play a lot, your older son. And to me, I saw so much will and determination. He played with such intensity. And I always hear about Colt. He plays with vision, with ease, with instinct. So it seems like they're different players. So can you tell me how they're different? And maybe when did you see it coming? Was this Nerf basketball? When did you see that Colt was going to be just a flat-out baller?
Yes, we had so much fun when those boys were little playing. I'd play on my knees when they were they were knee-high to a grasshopper, and we did the whole Nerf ball, and we have so many fun videos and just times of that. And then, of course, Colt had an opportunity to honestly look up to his older brother and all his friends. And before my dad passed, 7 years ago, we built a court behind my parents' house, and we lived real close to each other. And now looking back, the years that they've spent on that half court, it's a really nice court that my dad wanted them to have. but they've played so much ball, and the one common thread they have, Smitty, is they're as competitive as any kids in this. I'm not just saying that because they're my children. I've coached 27 years. I've coached Jalen Foster, who was phenomenal, and Hayden Brown, and I could go on with tons of guys that have played for me. But they have the number one ingredient to be a great player, and that's being super competitive. I don't think you can ever be a great player in any sport unless you have a competitive spirit that nobody can take away from you. No coach, no parent, no AAU coach. You have to have that, and they have that. They have the burning desire to be part of a team, very unselfish. They're like their dad. They can get a little headstrong at times and a little bit emotional, but that it has, for the most part, served them well. I think Will was more of a physical player, or is and was when he was Colt's age. I think he was more of a, just I'm going to drive it downhill, that kind of thing. Will's the kind of kid that impacts winning as much as he might have ever coached. Colt is more of a speedster. He's got shifty hips. He keeps people off balance. He can get low to the ground, gravity. He's 5'9", but he can get by guys. He has an innate ability of knowing where guys are, can see things ahead. I tell people all the time, they used to talk about this with Wayne Gretzky in hockey, but Colt can pass people open. The good player just makes the pass to the guy that is open. Colt can pass guys open, and I'm telling you this humbly, there aren't many of those guys. And with that being said, I've been able to watch people like that in my career. And Colt, I think I think a lot of that's God-given, but I think a lot of that's he studies the game. He's always watching film. He's got to see an older brother and his friends. He was part of our upper state championship and, upper state championship in 24, where he was a freshman. So he's always been around it. Do we butt heads sometimes? Of course we do. Just I think off competitiveness, but man, I know every night we go out on that floor with a kid like Colt Fowler, you got an opportunity in every single basketball game you play.
All right, Coach, that's fantastic. And I wish Colt all the best. We're so happy that he's having such a fantastic career following your footsteps and Will's, and obviously Missy as well. Tell us, if you will, we'll let you go. I know you've got work to do and a game to prepare for, but one key to tonight against Dorman, you and Thomas Ryan, you've matched wits I don't know how many times, so I don't imagine there's any surprises tonight. So what's the key to the game?
Well, I mean, Thomas is a Hall of Famer. What he's done down there is just amazing. But, we're also good friends, and we're competitors. We're rivals, but we don't take it past that. Thomas and I talk several times a week, maybe not as much during game week, but for us to be successful against them, you have to be connected defensively, not just one or two guys. Jaden Johnson can score at all three levels. Will Bush, they've made it a point to really hammer him home the last 5 games, and he's done a great job. They run really good sets. They're disciplined. They play good team D. They're one of those teams, it's almost like an old Bob Knight throwback. Like most teams end up beating themselves, and they don't. You have to go out and beat them. So to your point, the biggest key for me tonight is, we got to play a full 32-minute game. I know that's very much coach's talk, but you don't beat a Dorman with a good quarter or a good half. You have to play them for 32 minutes, and that doesn't mean you won't miss shots. It doesn't mean you won't miss defensive assignments. But you have to be consistent all the way through that 32 minutes to give yourself the best shot to win. And I think that's how we were able to beat them here earlier in the year. I know at their place they'll be jacked up. We went a long stretch of never winning over there. We've won the last 2 over there. And I say that humbly because we probably went 8 or 10 years of not winning over there. So we want to go over there tonight and play, some of our best basketball, obviously not just for tonight, but as we move forward going to these playoffs.
Yeah, if you're within driving distance, that's a game to get to. That is a monster game. Coach, thank you so much for spending time with us. We'll be back in touch because we'll follow you throughout the playoffs. Good luck.
Hey, man, thank y'all. The show's great. I appreciate everything.
Thank you. Lane Fowler, head man for the Burns Rebels. We appreciate him spending some time with us. And, Steve, I know we've got to get to a break, but I thought you might want to react to Coach Fowler there with their big showdown with Dorman coming up. And as he talked about, there's those three right there at the top, Riverside, Dorman, Burns, and playoff positioning. And there's so much intensity right now here in early to mid-February.
Man, I'm fired up. I mean, I want to hit the road right now and get up there to Spartanburg County and watch that game tonight. I mean, I haven't had the chance to see them in person yet, but I suspect there's going to be plenty more opportunities for me, this Columbia boy right here, to make a chance to see them play this season before it's all said and done. And what a wonderful guy. We got to get him on the golf course. He seems like a blast with the historian inside of him, and just his personality, be able to have a good time out there playing 18 holes. So when the summer comes around, we'll have to make something happen.
He's such a tremendous guy, and I loved, and we will do this perhaps. I'll have to write this down somewhere. We will have to talk about maybe 90s to, the early 2000s, all the, you talked about the athletes that came through and the coaching personalities, both, basketball and football side, that are just big names, famous names. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's so great for us to get that perspective that coaches like Doug Lau and Mark Freese, who had such success at that level, that then have retired, and then stay in touch with somebody like Lane Fowler, who's still doing it out there in the court. I think that's a great lesson for our young people about getting those good mentors and helping you through your career. And Lane is having himself a career due in part to great genes, having Will Fowler help lead them to a state championship, and then Colt Fowler now as a Region Player of the Year, and he leads the Burns Rebels against Dorman tonight. We will take another break. I said we've lost Steve. We'll try to get to that break, and we've got Terrence Scriven coming up on the other side. Another baller. He's the athletic director for Crestwood High School, and they've got some big games coming up. They just had a big signing day that we'll talk about with Terrence as well. So let's see if Steve has disappeared. That's okay. We'll get back. Get to that break in just a moment. We will get to Terrence Scriven, but quick reminder that you can catch everything on the Chief Sports Network on the app. So absolutely download the app. If you're just joining the show, perhaps down the YouTube stream, you missed the beginning of that conversation with Lane Fowler, or you've missed any of the conversations that we've had in recent weeks with coaches and athletic directors. Josh Vincent, Soxty athletic director, laid out everything going on in terms of region realignment and how it affects Sockasty and Carolina Forest and teams down there in that neck of the woods now that they've been connected to some of those Charleston County schools. That's a great one that you can go revisit. And as a matter of fact, one thing we're going to tell you about after we talk to Terrence Scriven is Jamar McCoy, James Island head football coach, who has some strong feelings about regional realignment and reclassification as well. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Crestwood Athletic Director Terrence Scriven joins us on Four Quarter Friday. Stay tuned.
Morning, Carl. Usual?
Yeah.
Your oldest was in here the other day. Said the two of you took a trip down to my neck of the woods. How'd that go?
You might as well give me one of those Carolina cars while you're at it.
I knew I'd like that one.
Yeah.
There you go, my friend.
Thanks.
Hey, Carl. Congratulations.
See you tomorrow, Freddie.
You bet.
Welcome to Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions. Basement crawl space encapsulation designed for your specific needs. Your crawl space can be susceptible to all sorts of issues, including moisture buildup, mold growth, and structural damage if not cared for properly. Let our trained experts provide basement crawl space encapsulation solutions to protect your home, improve air quality, and enhance energy efficiency. Schedule your consultation today for a safer, healthier space at dryspacecs.com.
Do your wood floors need a touch-up? Visit recoatrevolution.com in South Carolina today. Welcome back to Four Quarter Friday, part of the Chief Sports Network. Let's talk ball.
Welcome back to the Four Quarter Friday show. On this beautiful February day, we have Coach Terrence Scriven coming from Sumter County to join us. And Terrence, you are just been announced the new Director of Membership of the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association. You had a cousin recently make a commitment on signing day. We played a video before the show started. He signed to Newberry, and he's actually going to be our Palmetto player profile segment today. And just wanted to kind of get your expert analysis on your family and talk about what kind of player he is, and then also, your new role inside of the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association. Welcome.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, man. I really appreciate it, and thanks for all you guys do for everyone involved with athletics across the state, and what you guys do for the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association and your support. I think this is really huge, and I really appreciate what you guys do. So thank you again for having me on, and just to talk about my cousin. Deshaun Scriven. It's kind of weird when we got here in 22. Scriven's not a common name, so if I hear Scriven, we're related somewhere down the line. So when he got here, I knew of him. He played middle school ball at Alice Drive, one of the schools in our district, and so I knew of him. And so when I got to Crestwood back in 22, that was his 9th grade year. And so I go up to him and I said, "Hey, who's your family? What's your grandfather's name?" And the next thing you know, I'm like, "Oh crap! You're definitely you're definitely related to me." But then we just clicked, and he's a real model student athlete, not because he's a family member, but he's definitely would do a really good job. He also played in the Shrine Bowl. Coach Nelson does a really good job with our guys, and he played in the Shrine Bowl. Really good student athlete, no trouble, and I wish him the best. I think he'll do a really good job when he gets to Newberry once he gets acclimated. But I'm really excited for him. I mean, we had him and a couple other kids sign the other day, but I'm really excited for him, and he'll do well. Really good athlete.
Well, Coach. Signing day was yesterday. You'll had multiple signed. Help us educate the rest of the state. Talk about your special student athletes that signed yesterday in the various sports and schools that they're going to play at the collegiate level.
Oh, well, here at Crestwood, we had 3 signed yesterday. We had 2 football and 1 softball. So probably got a couple more to come. There are a couple more. And our senior class wasn't really heavy. So like I said, Coach Nelson and his staff do an excellent job, a really good job of promoting our student athletes and trying to get them in school. And also our female coaches, they do a really good job as well. We got one of our female coaches for our female sports, Shaquanda Miller McCray, she's our head girls basketball coach. She does a really good job of trying to promote and get our student athletes out there. So I think we got more to come. This wasn't a heavy senior class, but I know like first year I got here, first or second year, we had like 7 or 8 football players signed in one class. So we promote that. We do a good job of that, and I hope that continued success. I know across the way, I think maybe Sumter, I saw I saw an article. I think they may have had like 6 or 7 kids signed yesterday. And I think Lakewood had a couple. I'm not sure. I think they had a couple kids. So across our district, though, yearly we do a really good job. That's one thing I'm truly proud of, especially as being the athletic director. I've been at Lakewood, Sumter, Crestwood, so I keep in touch with all 3 of them. Also, although Crestwood is my home right now, so my loyalty is definitely to Crestwood High School. But I also keep in touch with everyone, and I think they all do a great job of trying to get our student athletes promoted. So.
Terrence Scriven joining us here on Four Quarter Friday, athletic director for Crestwood High School. We're going to ask him about his playing career in a few minutes, too, because Terrence was a player. But how about the basketball players that are there now at Crestwood? They've got a big game coming up this coming Tuesday. The region lead will be on the line against Wilson coming up on Tuesday.
Yeah, it got moved to Monday, so we played them Monday and then back to back Tuesday. But you're absolutely correct. We both got 1 loss. We beat them the first time, but we lost to Darlington. But then Wilson beat Darlington. So right now there's a 3-way tie for first. So this game on Monday is really huge. We have a very good our basketball program since I've been here, and I think the year before I got here they were good. But our basketball program has been absolutely stellar since we've been here. I think we maybe a total of maybe, let's see, 11 losses, 11, 12. I'm pushing it, over the last 4 years, 4 to 5 years. We went to the state 22-23, got put out in the 3rd round the last 2 years. And this year we're really, really young. So I think we're overachieving, to be honest, right now. But we have a young freshman named Sheldon Davis. Keep our eye out for that name. His name's Sheldon Davis. He had a brother who played last year, was instrumental in the last couple of years of the success of the program. He's at Francis Marion right now. But Sheldon Davis is the name to look for. We got a lot of other, I hate calling out one particular name because, sometimes, you're showing some favoritism, but he's definitely a talent. And we have some other student athletes, J.D. Shaw, Eric Samuel, Jameer Baxter. I'll start calling names. But we're pretty young, and we got a young core. So keep in touch with us. We got a lot of 9th and 10th graders on that team, and they're really good. And so we're excited for the future for them.
I'm really curious. You're a Hall of Famer at Claflin. Do those players, when they see you walk down the hall, do they know you were a baller?
Not really. No. Not really. Every now and then I might go in the gym and grab the ball and try to shoot. Might hit a couple shots. I might hear someone say, "You ain't got it no more." But for the most part, do I think they really know my?
Oh
no, we lost them.
Yeah. But I love that, Steve. That's you haven't got it anymore. So anyway, over 1,000 career points at Claflin University, and Terrence Scriven is in their Hall of Fame as a player. We'll try to get him back on and talk more about Crestwood High School. But great job, Steve, on highlighting our Palmetto player profile, because what a coincidence. I didn't realize that Deshaun Scriven and Terrence Scriven wouldn't have known each other, were cousins, prior to reconnecting at Crestwood High School.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that either. It's something probably I should have gotten, gotten before the show. But it's just a fascinating story. You got to wonder how big the family reunions are now. I think we got Coach Scriven back in. Let's see if we can get him back. Coach, can you hear us?
I don't know what happened.
Oh, you probably just got a phone call or a text that altered the feed here, but we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Uh-oh.
We'll keep moving.
That's that Sumter County Wi-Fi. Now, come on.
Yeah. Hey, I've been in Crestwood many times. There's some decent cell reception in there, but it's not amazing. I think we got him one more time. Let's see if we got him. Can you hear us, Coach?
There you are.
Yeah, we're back.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear us. Well, Coach, we're probably going to have to get you later on. But Smitty, Coach Scriven is now the director of membership for the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association. I think it would be great to have just a short interview with Jamar. We'll try to get Coach Scriven back on here. I'll get in the background here and start texting him and maybe get him to a better cell location. See if he can brave the cold for just a few more minutes while we want to hear about the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association, their goals for this season or this year, the 2026-27 year. You got any final thoughts before we go to this quick interview with Jamar McCoy, a sneak peek?
Well, I really love the insight that Terrence was giving us about Crestwood being so young. That's a team on the rise. I'm going to put an asterisk next to that because only one region loss right now. They've got a showdown coming up with Wilson, as Terrence told us, on Monday, because now they've got to play Monday, Tuesday, as these region games are getting clustered due to some of the weather. And it's fascinating that Crestwood is a team that's competing for a region title this season, and Terrence thinks they're ahead of schedule. So we're going to put an asterisk by them and watch out for them coming up next season as well.
All right. So real quick sneak peek of a new bonus episode coming out soon. Jamar McCoy from James Island High School.
We're the only IB high school in our county, so students want to get that IB diploma, which is very attractive, and it's a lot of hard work to get. So with the multiplier, it has bumped us up to being a 5A program. And we don't have 5A numbers, live bodies in the building. We just don't. But before I dig deep into that, the travel, I have to say, is better being in 5A because, we don't have far to go. I think our furthest region game this year was over to Ashley Ridge or maybe over to Somerville. It's really, no more than an hour's drive from here to there. We travel further during the playoff stretch to play ball games. Now, when we were in 4A several years ago, the travel was a bear to get out to Hilton Head or Beaufort or May River or one of those schools, down south of us. It was a haul. It was a haul for sure. But at the same time, when you compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges as it relates to warm bodies in the school, grades 9 through 11, those schools in Beaufort County, down in Hilton Head, those are the schools that we are comparable to, not to a Somerville or Ashley Ridge that has 25, 26, 28, nearly 3,000 students in the building. Like we just don't. It is what it is. And, what I kept hearing from the appeals process was, y'all been competitive, y'all been competitive, y'all been competitive. So what that we're competitive? Clemson is competitive. Miami is competitive. They're both ACC schools. That doesn't mean they need to go jump into the SEC. Like, it is what it is. Our roster is built on 4A numbers. And since we are competitive with the kids that we have, does that mean we need to play 5A? No, not at all. Your rules state we classify and realign schools on their ADMs, their average daily minimums. And our ADMs say that we're squarely a 4A school. And that's just that. So I feel that the 3A, the multiplier, is something that's old and arcane, that we lifted straight from the state of Georgia, who no longer uses the rule because it's outdated and it really does nothing but hurt those other public schools. Their intended audience was for some of these charter schools to get hit with the multiplier for competitive balance. But I haven't seen any, and I mean any, zero, zilch evidence that this multiplier has balance the competition in the state.
Oh, and you can hear there Jamar McCoy, head coach for James Island, speaks with a lot of passion about a lot of topics. And that's something that you don't want to miss is the full conversation with Jamar McCoy. I really enjoyed it, James Island head football coach.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great conversation. He did not hold back. He had some really good thoughts and ideas that I think will be hopefully flushed out in the near future as we continue to try to make high school athletics in South Carolina better. We have a lot of great people in this state that is their mission every day when they go to work. And Coach Scriven is another one of those people. And we got Coach Scriven back. Coach Scriven, can you hear us now?
I'm here.
Awesome. Well, Coach, we wanted to get you in here again to kind of finish up the conversation. Crestwood High School athletics is rocking and rolling. Y'all doing a great job all over the place, from football to cross country and track and all those non-revenue sports. But you've recently taken on a new role with the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association, our proud partner, as the new director of membership. What does that role look like for you on a month-to-month basis, and what is the mission behind your role?
First, I want to go back to what you said, and I don't know what happened, but I want to give a huge shout out to Crestwood High School, to our athletic program again, all the good things that we have going on. There's a lot of things people can say negative about.
Oh no. Well, Smitty, I tell you what, this is just the thing that we've gotten used to on the 4 Quarter Friday show. School Wi-Fi networks are just really hard to get around sometimes, and coaches with their cell receptions in certain areas don't get great coverage, and Crestwood High School in that area is a little bit hit or miss depending on what cell coverage you have. So we'll have to try to get we'll have to finish that interview with a recording, don't you think?
Yeah, we'll catch up. So certainly, if you're a fan of Crestwood High School or just want to know more about what's going on with the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association, we will make sure we close out that conversation with Terrence Scriven and bring it back to you one way or another in the coming weeks. Hey, what else we're going to do? Steve, we try to cover a lot of ground here. We know we've got the wrestling playoffs coming up. We have baseball rankings that have already been released, and so we've got high school baseball closing in. We have signing day now in the rearview mirror, and you did a great job putting together a little montage of so many of the signees from inside our state. And also, big games tonight. There are big-time playoff implications and region implications in some games tonight. I want to highlight those again before we exit the show. But if you're within driving distance, we talked last week about take a kid to a game. If you're within driving distance of one of these 4 games, these are mine that my monsters tonight. Region 7 5A. Berkeley is at Cane Bay. This is a Berkeley program to me that is criminally underrated right now. 7-1 in region play. They've won 6 straight, including a 68-59 win over Cane Bay back in late January. And how about this? This is the one, an exclamation point next to this game. Berkeley beat Goose Creek 69-42. They've got something. I don't know whether it was the switch, perhaps getting some of those football athletes back, but they flipped a switch after that holiday break, and they have been absolutely rolling. So that's the Cane Bay area. The Cobras are playing host to the Stags tonight, Region 7 5A. Region 5 4A, we talked to Terrence Scriven about this. He said it's a young Crestwood Knights team. On Monday, they will play Wilson for the region lead in Region 5. There. Region 4 3A, the defending champs, Keenan, are looking for revenge against Fox Creek tonight. That game is at Keenan. So to me, that is a big ticket. And then you and I were both fired up after talking to Lane Fowler, head coach for the Burns Rebels. Burns beat Spartan High 90-84 last night. So you see the kind of pace that Lane Fowler likes to play with. Meanwhile, Dorman beat Gaffney 69-66. That sets up a showdown between Burns and Dorman. Burns, Dorman, and Riverside separated by one game in Region 2 5A. Dorman kind of, if they want to win the region championship and get that long run of home games as they close in on the playoffs, that becomes a must-win tonight at Dorman. That's a game, if you're within driving distance and the weather is clear, take a kid to a ball game. Those are 4 suggestions. You can't do better entertainment than that, than catching a game with all of those implications. And there's just going to be so much intensity in those arenas tonight. That's a warm place to be. When the crowd is juiced up like that, Steve, that's the warmest place you can be tonight in South Carolina.
And yeah, I mean, I'm staying inside, and I'm glad baseball hasn't officially kicked off just yet. We still got a few weeks before the first games get started, but man, coaches all over the state are pulling their hair out right now. Spring coaches with their tryouts getting pushed back, and the snow delayed school and they couldn't even have practice, and then it rains like cats and dogs across a lot part of the state, and so that pushes it back. I think cuts might be made by today or tomorrow, but it's definitely thrown a wrench into the calendar for every AD and head coach in the spring sports season. But can't wait for the baseball season to pop up. Can James Island, can they repeat as a state champion? Last year they beat a really good Lexington team. Lexington County has great baseball programs. Gilbert High School with the legendary coach Ashley Burnett leading that program for years and years are always a force to be reckoned with at the 4A level. What is your eye on right now for baseball season? Who are you keeping an eye out on?
Yeah, I'm really interested in now Dorman High School. Look, I mean, full disclosure, I know Dorman comes up sometimes. That's where I went to school. Just and they were a baseball power. They under Jack Jolly. They were not when I was there, when I was playing there, but they are under Jack Jolly. And I can't wait to see these early season tournaments, Steve, one of which is going to be the Classic in Georgetown in my backyard. I'm going to get to that. We're going to have so many of the state's top players and top teams that are going to be a part of that. I know they've got a big tournament coming up in the Midlands as well. And I hope we've got great weather for those. I'm excited about seeing all those teams together out there. I think Dorman, from what I am hearing, because I do, continue to have some connections there, they are just deep and loaded this year, and they've got a great coach and they've got a great program, and they have a lot of second-generation players, names that you're going to hear. We'll highlight those in the coming weeks because we will, as we kind of get into the basketball playoffs, we will do kind of a basketball guest, and then we'll also start getting some of these spring guests on, baseball, softball, and some of the other spring sports, and baseball's certainly going to be a part of that. But I know I sound like a homer in saying this, but I'm just telling you the rumors are that I'm hearing from the connections I have in the upstate. Dorman is just loaded, and they've got a great coach at the helm. So a great jockey and then great horses to run with this season. And I'll get to see them in person at the Classic baseball tournament coming up right there in the first week of March.
Well, Smitty, it's been another great four-quarter Friday. We got a little bit of time, but I can't wait to see what's going to be on Inside the Gamecocks next. SEC Sunday night later on this weekend. Rob Williams does a great job with that, and then we got late night Gamecock show later on. That's on Sunday now as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So all you have to do is be a part of the Chiefs. Download the app. That's where you want to be. If you download the app, you can see everything and get all the choices. And you said, I love the SEC show. I love the late night Gamecock show. And of course, I frequently jump on with Jamie Bradford inside the Gamecocks. That's going to be coming up next. But while we've got this little hole, I don't know, Steve, if you've got, like Terrence Scriven, I had a cousin that was a part of signing day. If you've got the graphic, we can pull that up in the final minute. That is, yes, you can't imagine that in my family, my DNA, that there's going to be any volleyball talent, but there's plenty. That is Ramsey Lark Chastain. She was an All-American, a 3-time state champion at Dorman High School, and she signed yesterday to play volleyball at Wofford. She was nationally recruited, so Wofford got an absolute steal here. She is a 5', 11-inch setter. Her mother was a fantastic athlete, a 4-time state champion in volleyball under Paula Kirkland. So you start adding it up, and that family has a lot of Paula Kirkland's 16 state championships in volleyball. So her mother, Stephanie, who I can't even keep up with all the collegiate sports that her mother and aunts played. They were a part of soccer and tennis and track, still hold records across schools. They were it's a fantastic sports family on that side. I can take no credit for it. And Ramsey grew up around volleyball. Wofford got a steal. She is a wizard as a setter, and she's going to be one of the more athletic setters that's there in the SoCon. She is a phenomenon, and they got a good one. She's been playing volleyball since she could walk. Watch out for her younger brother, too. He's going to play probably college volleyball or be a college golfer. So hat tip to Ramsey Lark Chastain, and she's just part of one of many, many great players that Paula Kirkland has turned out there. As I mentioned, 16 state championships. She is just the queen. And she's got another one there. So congratulations to Ramsey Lark. You're going to love your time at Wofford. And congratulations to Wofford. They got a steal. They got a great one there.
Well, hey, Smitty, if there's anything today's show has taught me is South Carolina high school sports is a family affair in South Carolina. I mean, with your family and Coach Scriven's family and Coach Fowler's family, I mean, this stuff is as good as it gets, man. You grew up watching these kids just become such model citizens, and the amount of work they put in to see these achievements, and then their parents having these backgrounds as well. Man, what a great testament to families in South Carolina.
Yeah, and there are so many other signees that we'll go to that we need to highlight, and we're trying to do that as best we can on X. So find us at 4 Quarter Friday. Be a part of the show next week. Final 30 seconds here, Steve. Who have we got coming up next week on the show?
Well, next week we have. Well, I might have to get back to you on that. Do you have anybody lined up just yet?
Well, I thought we were doing wrestling on next week.
Well, we do, but it won't be. It'll actually be surprise. It'll come out before next week because the playoffs for wrestling are the dual championships will be finished on Wednesday.
Okay.
So we're going to have to get this bonus episode out, another bonus episode that we're going to interview the athletic director at T.L. Hanna High School, who's the wrestling chairperson for the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association. We have third and fourth rounds happening soon. And again, the dual championships for wrestling in the state of South Carolina is going to be next Wednesday. And I can't wait to talk to Tommy Bell about that here soon today.
All right, we're wrapping it up. Thanks to everybody. We've got Inside the Gamecocks coming up next here on the Chief Sports Network.
From the Low Country to the Upstate, from the Midlands to the PD, we've got you covered. This is our state. South Carolina matters to us. All of South Carolina. We love talking ball. And we love talking ball with you. Thank you for tuning into the 4 Quarter Friday High School Show. Every Friday at 9 a.m. on the Chief Sports Network. Proudly presented by the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association.